Dustin with TechMD coming at you from our new office. I've been needing to get this phone and many other phones recorded, and we have finally got opportunity to record a G8 Power. Even though I've done a lot of them, we are finally doing it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start off putting on a heat mat. I recommend between 80 to 120 degrees Celsius. I like 120, but this heat mat's broken, so I'm waiting for my new one to come in. Link in the description for the heat mat. But run it at 120 for 3 minutes or 5 minutes at a lower temperature to get this going for you. As I try to tell everyone on all my videos, please make sure you watch the video first. By clicking on the links in the description, you actually help us out by paying for our editors and paying for everything that it requires to do a YouTube channel. I still don't make enough money to cover my expenses yet, but I really do guys appreciate it if you click on those Amazon links or Gadget links and to buy the parts from them. If you do Gadgets, they're going to have a better warranty, just a heads up. So they may not always have them. So we're doing the G8 Power today, and screen, it looks like this on the back and this on the front. Also, we're going to be replacing her ear speaker. I told her to order one, and her ear speaker is just not doing well. So it looks like it works for G7 Power, G8 Play, One Action, One Vision ear speaker. So let's hope it's the right ear speaker for the G8. I'm assuming they're all very similar. Sometimes manufacturers reuse the same parts. So we're going to start off with opening up the phone. You can use a glove if it's too hot to touch, but this is plastic in the back, so you don't really want to warm it up too much. So we just insert our Iflex tool in between the frame and the plastic back here, I think. Could I be wrong? I might be wrong. Let's pull out the SIM tray. SIM card tool, or just a thin tool to pull this out. Some of the Motorola's are designed slightly different, so I thought you pulled off the back on this one, but I could be wrong. Get in between the glass, well, the plastic blue frame and the plastic black, if we can. Geez. I'm not finding any successful entry point here. I swear I've repaired this a bunch of times too. Okay, there we go. Finally. Got our tool in there. Get our iplastic. And then we can cut the plastic. Wow. Might need it a little bit more warmed up. It's getting a little colder. But for speed wise, we're going to just get this done. Use the iPlastic tool to prevent cutting cables. Cutting cables are never a good idea. I'm going to push this down. That way it goes right through it. And hold it down while we're pulling up the back. Okay. Now this is going to take a while for the battery to warm up. So you can do alcohol, or you can do prying with heat. Okay, so why it's on the heater, like I said, I'd much rather have this at 120 degrees, but it is what it is until my new one comes in today. So I'm going to use a T4 screwdriver to start removing some of these screws. And the cable literally goes underneath the battery and plugs in here. So we got to remove all kinds of stuff. If it gets a little too hot to touch, just make sure you use a little bit of like a glove or something like that. Also, you can use a heat gun or hair dryer to remove the back, but I would recommend still doing more controlled, which is this. Especially if you plan on fixing more phones in the future, it's just worth buying this. I'm just using a cutting board to make sure I don't melt things underneath. Lift that up. Go ahead and remove this piece out of here. Make sure you don't puncture the battery or anything like that craziness. Just gonna take a plastic tool to lift this up. Move that aside. If you don't have multiple screens or you want to test your screen, which I always recommend you doing, you would just move the cable like this and plug it in, and then plug the battery in, and away you go. Very well possible that didn't have to remove this. Okay, so ignore that, but if you wanted to change the charge port on this, you would remove this here and pop this out and then switch it around. Desoldering those is possible, but you have to have soldering skills. We're gonna go ahead and put the Torx four screws back in here because we don't need to have those removed. Okay, so if you're doing an ear speaker, obviously you want to make sure it's the exact same size. Looks like it is. And it literally just pulls out. This one's separating. Probably what happened is she just banked up her phone too much and caused it to separate. You can always see your orientation by looking at the bottom of this here. The connectors. Yep. Set that in there. Feels like it's probably going to be a little loose. Yep, it is. So what we're going to do here, just leave it alone, and we'll put it in afterwards. I'm going to take like a needler, and we're going to put some alcohol in there since I don't have enough heat. But if you have enough heat at 120 degrees Celsius for 5 minutes, this thing will pop right out. All you have to do is some prying and the iplastic tool, which I'm about to demonstrate anyways, because it makes life easier. The reason why I've never used this in the past videos is because I've always been mobile, and yeah, there's no really spot. So I use a spray bottle, but it's very hard to get alcohol in those crevices. Just making sure it's working here. So we're just going to put a little bit of alcohol, and guess what? It evaporates, so it's not going to hurt none of the foam. It's going to help loosen up the adhesive. Okay. So what I like to do is, obviously you want to be careful of these cables, and this cable is the one that we could potentially damage without a problem. So I'd like to go on this side, but unfortunately there's not much room to get on that side. Just a little bit of soft prying, just enough to get our plastic tool under there. Remember that there's that cable there, so I'm going to be extra cautious about that cable. There we go, comes right up. Not as much heat, but it does take a little longer. Overall though, it worked. And I'm sure you guys are all asking, oh Dustin, why don't you do glass repair, yada yada yada. Well, you need special machines, and these parts are less than $30-ish, 30-40 bucks, so you really don't need to do glass repair. Even if you're in a country that makes sense, it's very challenging because it has a backlight, and so you have to use Oka, and just gotta have a really good skill for it. Getting the glass right, and I don't know, it just doesn't make sense here in the United States. My frame is just giving me lots of trouble, so we're going to use a flatter tool. There we go, that worked. But if you were to do glass repair, you'd want to carefully remove this out of the frame without damaging the LCD. It's pretty hard to do without getting inside the backlight. Wow. Move that out of our way. And put the back panel on the back heater. Let's not melt any cameras. That's why I took it off the heater. No need. I've tried several times to get these off without breaking the screen, but I'll tell you, it's not easy. Trying now just for you guys. Wow. Putting a lot of pressure on that, and it does not want to come up. It's probably because I need a little bit more heat. If you did want to do it, you definitely wouldn't want to use more than 90 degrees Celsius because you'd burn the backlight. I would assume. Normally you can just be more aggressive and just rip this thing off. But instead I was just trying to be more careful to take it off without breaking that OLED. Then you would put it on a machine where it sucks it down, and then you take a string and cut it off. Then you would fuse and bond a new glass with a laminator, bubble machine, a bunch of other stuff. Basically, good luck, it's going to take you a while. Okay. Now that we got that off, I'm going to just remove the excess glue. It's really stringy, so just pull. It's a little bit more difficult, obviously, than just replacing the whole frame. But replacing the whole frame, other things can go wrong as well. So be aware that this can be easier. Either way, you have to remove that pesky battery, going with the whole frame or not. Make sure you get all the excess glue and glass out of here. You don't want to be putting a nice flat piece of glass on there and then breaking it. And we're going to go ahead and take our ear speaker, correct orientation, which is this way. Just removing any extra adhesive off of that. Okay, we're going to get our new screen. Go ahead and peel off this back cover here. Usually, sometimes the new screen covers that front camera. This one is not. Okay, we're gonna get the T7000 out. Link in the description. Here we got correct orientation. This is how we found it this direction. So we'd go like this. And we just, after that little 2 pieces of glue, we set down, put one side down, and then the other side. And carefully place down. Okay, that's on there. Next, T7000 all around the phone. Don't get any in the camera. Clearly, that would be a bad thing. Just a nice thin coat. Get any on the sides or inside, it's not really gonna hurt nothing. Just don't go crazy on it. You don't want excessive where you have a huge mess to clean up. Just put a little thin coat right here. Try not to cover these sensors. There's 2 sensors there, so I'm just not covering them. We're going to run our cable right through this hole. And set this down. Line it up. Try to eyeball it too while you're doing it. Make sure you have enough cable length. I do. And push it down. But be careful about pressing down, because if you feel too much resistance, then it might be something like a bent frame or something in there like a piece of glass. Okay. Make sure your area is clear and then just press down for a good 30 seconds. The one reason why I like the 120 degrees Celsius, number one, is I can get in and out of Motorola and be done 20-25 minutes. So it's quite amazing. Okay, go ahead and plug in our cable. And our battery. We'll test real quick. It might be dead. No, it might be dead because it was totally charged. What's that? Oh, I see the screen on, but no display. Yeah, the screen's on, but no display. So what we can do here, we do get a bad one. That sucks if we do. I'll just have to redo it and show you guys the finish after I'm done. I'm gonna test this one anyways because I was curious. Hey, look at that. I almost did it. Oh, I did it. That's cool. I was able to separate that without breaking it. Just trying another screen since that screen didn't work. This one does work. So we're going to stop filming and then continue after. Okay. We got the new screen on. And I'm just making sure it's turning on there. Now for our ear speaker, make sure it's the correct orientation in that direction there. These higher pins right that way. if you do have an ear speaker replacement. Once in a while this, camera ring falls off, just put it back on. Be careful not to touch the board while you're doing that, especially if it's turning on. Next is just reassembly. Maybe in the future I will experiment with some glass separation, so I will save that for future. But as of right now, we're not going to do glass separation for front screens, but maybe we'll definitely doing it for iPhones right now for the back screens. You have to restart your phone after plugging this in, if it's still on. So this is nice and warm. You can put a layer of glue, but I just warmed it up on the heater. You can dig out all this glue and put fresh glue down. Just takes another 20 minutes of digging. I just like to put a new layer of T7000 on top. You get any extra snards, which is like thick adhesive. That's what I mean by that. Out of the way. Which I don't really see anything like that, so we're good to seal it up. Make sure you get the fingerprint sensor lined up first, and then you press down. And just press down for another minute, and we're going to put our SIM tray in. The right orientation is always fun. There we go. As you can see, we are fully functioning. That's it, guys. That's pretty much it. Pretty simple. Please like and subscribe and share this video if you guys found this useful. Please leave me a comment if you think you could do better. I'd be interested to see. Also, more of these detailed videos coming in the future. So have a good one, guys. Thanks.